TGO, Tom Gruenwald Outdoors, is brought to you by HT, premium ice tackle since 1974. Polar Fire Gear, this is how it's done. Tourism Saskatchewan, Canada's best freshwater fishing. Vexilar, ice fishing begins when you turn your Vexilar on. Kalispell, Montana, discovery in every direction. And these other fine sponsors.
Right about 5 feet here, Terry. That's perfect. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tom Gruenwald Outdoors. I'm Tom Gruenwald, and today we're fishing in a special area. We got out extra early, arrived here so we could set up, primarily so we could get on the spot that we wanted because we aren't in an urban area here. Secondly, because we didn't want to cause a big distraction and spook these fish. It's nice to get out here and set up and be ready for them when they start moving through. What's moving through? Steelhead. Now, steelhead are actually a rainbow trout. Typically, the name is applied to rainbows that are out in the ocean and move in freshwater streams and tributaries to spawn. The same name's been applied, however, to the rainbow trout here on the Great Lakes, like Lake Erie, Lake Michigan, Lake Superior. Stay out in the main lake proper and then move up here into the river to spawn, and that happens here at late ice. It just so happens we've had a super cold winter. We got a lot of ice out here, so the ice fishing season is corresponding to those runs of steelhead coming in from the lake. Now, steelhead can be caught here throughout the winter. This is just really the best time to be able to get into it. And we're out here with Carrie Paulson. Carrie, welcome to TGO.
Hi, Tom.
Carrie is the inventor of the automatic fisherman, and you know, Carrie, you actually developed this product specifically for fishing brown trout and steelhead here on the Great Lakes.
Yeah, we developed this product back in the early 70s and then slowly modified the product into fitting shorter rods so we can, you know, fight a fish by ourselves, because a long time ago we'd have to use two people. But it was primarily designed strictly for the steelhead and the brown trout, because the steelhead will grab a bait, spawn sack, minnow, whatever, and then if they feel any resistance, they drop it. Right. So for the finicky fish like that, it works perfect. And with the system, we allow it to have the slack line with the use of the bobber, and so that fish can grab that bait, take it out, and then the rod snaps up and sets the hook in the fish. That's the unique part about the product, is the hook setting capability.
Yeah, and that's important. If you're out here, you can catch these fish on tip-ups, but you have to be on it really quick because they do hit, they make those short runs, and a lot of times they drop. And with this, they can make the short run, but then bang, the hook is set. Really takes all the trouble out of trying to get decent hook sets and have a consistency with those hook sets.
And this product, it's nice because you can have a novice fisherman that's just starting to come fishing, and he can fish or she can fish with someone that's been fishing for 30 years, and they're almost exactly at the same time frame on an even playing field. So that's the cool part about this product. And hopefully you get a chance to see how these fish actually fight, because I mean, you can have a 15-minute fight with these fish. Yeah. They are amazing. It is truly a very fun time.
And there are a lot of different size fish. It's probably your average is what, maybe 6 to 8 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood. Yeah. Sometimes a little bigger. Yeah.
26 to 29 inches is an average.
Nice.
Average fish.
And a few browns are picked up in between.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. Now let's finish getting these lines set and see if we can get some river run steelhead.
Cool.
All right, let's go, Carrie. Well, that one snapped. You saw that bobber coming up.
Yeah. Grab it.
We got the drag and everything set here, right? We should be good to go.
All good to go. All you got to do is fight the fish. Hopefully.
He came back at us.
Probably, yeah.
There's one on there. Now you just try to take these real easy with these fish too, because sometimes they are coming towards you.
A little brown.
No, it's all right. We'll take it. Nice, nice.
It's a pretty fish too.
Aren't they pretty?
Yes, they are.
Now, there's a few different strains of these brown trout out here too, right?
Yes. There's a sea-four lane brown, which has more of like an X pattern.
Yep.
On the black dots would be like X patterns.
Yep.
And then there's the German brown. And The Seaferlins usually have like an adipose clip and a right ventricle clip, but these are, this one doesn't have any clippings on it for some reason.
Isn't he pretty though?
But there's
Just
your fish.
look at that.
Yeah.
They're so strong. Look at
Yeah.
that guy. All right, we're gonna let this one go, Carrie.
Yep.
What a beautiful fish, look at that. They're so fat, aren't they? Just unbelievable.
Yeah, they're nice.
And I just like to let them get a little air and they'll take off on their own there once you get some oxygen. Yep. Oh, there he goes, Carrie. That was great.
Yeah,
We
that was a
started
nice
out.
fish.
That was fun. And we'll be right back with some more trout action right after this.
More fishing action online at tgofishing.com.
Welcome back to TGO, and we're here with Carrie Paulson, and Carrie is the person who designed the automatic fisherman. And Carrie, we've got a lot of people that are really interested in how this works and how to fish for trout using these. Can you show us a little bit your preferred gear, rigging techniques, presentation here we'll be using today?
The automatic fisherman rods we have for steelhead fishing are the 33-inch medium heavy rods. They're very strong. They have a 5-year warranty. They have a lot of guides, so when you are after these big fish, you want something that you can actually pull back on that fish and somewhat control them, because you're at the fish's mercy here. But with these big stiff poles, you really got a little leverage on them to kind of help yourself fight these fish. And then to engage it into the automatic fisherman, you stand that trigger arm up, take the tip of the fishing rod, push it over onto the trigger pin and slide it on there like this, and then pull some slack out. So then when the fish grabs the bait, the slack line is going to start to come out. The second that line gets tight, the rod's going to snap up in that fish, set the hook. You can actually control how much line you want that fish to have.
All right, so we've seen the gear now and looked at the equipment. What about the rigging and the presentation side of things, Carrie? How do you have this all set up?
How I have it set up is I have obviously the bobber on the rod right here. This is a crucial part right here that allows you to have that slack. The second crucial part is your ice stopper system. I'll go over that in a second. And then we have our weight, our 1/8 ounce to 1/4 ounce weight, our swivel, and our leader line, our 6-pound trilene XL, anywhere from 15 to 20 inches long, and our 6 to 8 style octopus or single hook, sorry. And then we take our hook and we hook the spawn sack in the back of the bait, and we roll it around like this a little bit, and then you go through and you curl it out like this. So now that spawn sack the hook is buried in the bait, but it's away from the knot and the foam. So when the rod sets the hook, the single hook can come out of that bag real easily and give a real good hook set into that fish. So now we're ready to put it in the water. And one of the things that you want to make sure that you're doing is when you're river fishing is make sure that spawn sack goes underneath the ice, because if it doesn't, it can actually hang up right on the edge of the ice on the downstream side. So we watch the bait go underneath the ice, and now all we're doing is we're waiting for that egg sinker to contact the bottom. And when you see it contact the bottom, you'll see the ice stopper lay sideways, right there. You see how the ice stopper lays flat? Now I know that sinker is on the bottom, and now I can actually take the rod and then engage it to the automatic fisherman triggering system. The last step you need to do is grab the ice stopper out of the hole, snap it apart like this, take your ice stopper solution and fill the solution up to the top like that, holding your finger underneath the bottom part of it so the solution doesn't leak out. And last thing you do is you snap this back together, make sure your line isn't kinked in there, and put that in the water.
Perfect.
And we are ready to fish.
Here we go. Well, I think this is our last line. We've got Tom and Bob along with us too. a couple local guys that are very used to fishing this water. That's going to help us out. And then also, because we're allowed 3 lines per person here in Wisconsin, 4 of us, 3 people, we get 12 automatic fishermen. So let's see if we can catch some fish.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you think, Carrie? You know, it's been about, what, almost 2.5 hours on this spot. Got 1 brown.
Yeah, I think it's time to move. We're gonna go to a different spot, little deeper water, more of a pool, and I think it's time to go. We need to find some aggressive fish.
Okay. All right, sounds like a plan. Let's get these pulled and go get reset. It's just like you say, if they're not, those fish aren't moving, you got to go to the fish, just like any place else.
Yep.
We got that drag set just right. Very nice.
Yep. One of the things that when you are fighting these fish, you don't want to just keep cranking a handle, because all you'll do is just knot the line all up. One thing we always tell everybody to do is to lift up on the rod, and 1 crank, 2 cranks. Keep the rod parallel to the ice, and just enjoy the fight.
Yeah, you do not want to rush when you get this. Presumably is going to be a big steelhead. You do not want to rush these fish. They are all muscle, they're strong. Just look at them. Oh, it's a nice fish.
Yeah. Now, one of the things with these fish is the bait in these fish, the female rainbows, you do periodically want to keep a female fish, just for the simple fact of being able to keep fishing. So if you do catch a female, you have that option of wanting to keep that female, for the simple fact of using the eggs of that fish, the skein, as bait.
Boy, that's
She's getting ready.
Yeah, it's getting close.
I think it is a female, so be careful with her. Get her in and we'll probably end up keeping her.
Yeah, just kind of slide her up.
Try to grab her right behind the fins with 2 hands.
There's more fishing action to come right here on TGO.
It's always the best just to grab her with 2 hands right behind the fins. Look at that fish. Holy smokes. That's what it's about, bud.
Oh,
That's what it's all about. See the nice white bellies? This is a fresh fish coming from the lake. It probably hasn't been in the river more than a day or 3 at best.
Yeah.
You got the nice shiny silver, iridescent silvers on the edge, the faint red stripe, and the spotted tail. The spotted tail gives the steelhead, it determines whether it's a brown or a steelhead. You can pretty much look right at the tail, all the spots. And a lot of people don't understand how to actually tell a male from a female. You see the mouth is a lot shorter. It's only like 1.5 inches or so. Where a male will have a protruding mouth that'll go maybe 2-3 inches, and then it'll have a big kype in the end right here. This little bump will be almost 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch high. This is a female rainbow or female steelhead, because you can see the short mouth and there's no kype here. So like I said before, these fish are almost like gold to a guy that uses a lot of spawn for bait.
Yep.
So this fish is actually going to come home with us.
All right.
And we're going to use this one for bait so we can keep fishing. It's not something that you want to keep, obviously you want to use your judgment, catch and release, obviously, because a lot of these fish are actually naturally reproducing, but they do stock a lot of them. I mean, they have the Ganaraskas. Fish on. We got another fish on right over there. That is awesome.
Now you've caught a lot of these steelhead, Bob. You can kind of guess. How do you feel? What size fish you think this is?
This is a good fish, and typically, we haven't. Our numbers of fish have been down this year, but our size of fish have been, especially how aggressive they've been, has been,
I
don't know what to contribute that to, but that's just what we've been experiencing.
Yeah. I would say this fish is equivalent, or very equivalent to what we just landed before with you and I, Tom. One thing that you'd really want to watch out for with the soft ice is these fish. They have a tendency when they make these long runs to get that line caught in the ice. And you really need to be careful at that part, because if you don't watch that, if you don't see that line flipping around the hole, he can have that stuff buried into the ice like that, and you're trying to bring the fish in, and he can't come in because the hook is basically buried into that bottom part of the ice, and you'll break him off.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you either stick the pole into the hole to make sure that the line is free from the edge of the ice, or you have to stick your hand down there. And I mean, I don't like sticking the poles in the water.
Especially now when it's cold, to get ice in your guides and things then, but if it's necessary.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do to get these fish in. And these are fish of a lifetime. I mean, these are some very, very nice fish. So.
Oh yeah, that's a big fish, Bob, right there.
That's a tank.
It is a big fish. You're not gonna believe this steelhead. I think this might even be bigger than that
This
last
is bigger
one.
than the other one, yeah.
Wow.
This is where a lot of people make the problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now you're going to see the difference between a male and a female, because you can see the little longer mouth that they have, and then this kype right here by my finger. But you can see the iridescent reds and the silvers on the bottom, and the red cheek plate. And like I was telling you before, the spotted tail.
Beautiful.
And they're very slimy, so we don't want to really handle them too much out of the water. So.
More fishing action online at tgofishing.com.
Hey, we've got kind of a special treat for you today. While we were out fishing these steelhead, a couple of guys from the Wisconsin DNR showed up, and you're part of the steelhead stocking program here. I've got Andy Roan with me, and can you tell us a little bit about this, Andy? I mean, how many fish do you put in here, or what size are they? How long does it take to grow to the size for stocking, all that good stuff?
Sure. We're at the Kettle Moraine Spring State Fish Hatchery. We raised 270,000 steelhead for Lake Michigan. We stock those fish into approximately 25 different tributaries from Illinois all the way up through northern Door County. Today we have approximately 3,000 fish on for this tributary. It's only a partial. This river will eventually get about 10,000 fish. Right now they're at a yearling stage. They're about a year old. They're about 7 inches, maybe about 6.8 inches long right now. We spawn them down at the Root River in Racine County, and we spawn these fish up at Kewanee on the Kewanee River. And that's the reason why we're stocking today, is to make some room in the hatchery to bring some new eggs in possibly next week, if not the following week.
So you do the stocking in the springtime. Normally March would be the time of the year?
Late March, early April is a typical time for us.
Okay, and how many did you say you put in at one time normally?
Well, the whole steelhead quota for Lake Michigan and for Wisconsin is 270,000 fish.
Wow.
And that is on the small side right now. We're going through a phase of rebuilding the hatchery, where we're going to make things bigger and better and produce more fish for the Wisconsin anglers. And the new quota for steelhead will probably be approximately about 500,000. So we're going to about double that for you.
Okay, and so these fish, if I'm reading into this correctly, they're 7 inches long, so it takes about a year to get them to that length where they can be stocked.
Correct.
Wow. Well, this is really great. Now you're gonna, you got the truck backed up, and basically you've got a tube here that you run all the fish through into a hole you cut in the ice, and that's basically the.
Ideally, we like to do it without any ice on the river, but it makes things a little easier and safer for us. But we adapt to the conditions, and today we got ice, so we drilled a hole, and we'll stock them through the ice. They're a little lively right now.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Try.
Oh, there they are. It's hard to believe now. That gets dumped in. Now, how long do these fish live again, Andy?
They'll live up into the teens, 13, 14, 15 years old.
Okay.
And they'll spawn several times. They're not like their cousins, the coho or chinook, where they die after spawning. So these fish will spawn several times for us.
And how many years does it take for them to mature where they can spawn?
We'll see them back up in the rivers, 3, 4-year-olds, typically.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for showing this. I'll let you go ahead and get to work here, but thanks for joining us here on TGO. Really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Very interesting stuff. That was a great day of fishing. I'll tell you what, I just cannot believe yet how many times I can come down. You fish these tributary rivers or these harbors on the Great Lakes, and right in the midst of the city, population of people, to be able to come out and catch fish of this quality. Caught a nice brown today, a couple of very nice steelhead, had a couple other ones on that got off at the hole. And I guess if there's any words of wisdom kind of to share here at the end, it is that you do need to be careful with those big fish when you get them up next to the hole. Even though we had these holes carefully drilled at an angle and being super careful because we know they tend to get rambunctious right there as soon as you get them to the base of the hole, even so, you got to be careful. It's very easy for those hooks, if they're just stuck into the corner of those fish's mouth, to hook onto that ice. And once that happens, they're so strong, they do tear the hooks free. So you do need to be careful. However, it's been a great day of fishing. I want to thank Kerry Paulson from Automatic Fisherman for coming out here with us today, and his friends Bob and Tom for helping out. I'll tell you what, there's no question that the Automatic Fisherman does help in this situation in terms of getting good hooking percentages, being able to get these light biting fish. I hope you enjoyed today's program, again, as much as we enjoyed putting it on for you. And no matter where we go, until next time, remember, here on TGO, it's all ice fishing all the time.
TGO has been brought to you by HT, premium ice tackle since 1974. Polar Fire Gear, this is how it's done. Tourism Saskatchewan, Canada's best freshwater fishing. Vexilar, ice fishing begins when you turn your Vexilar on. Kalispell, Montana, discovery in every direction. And these other fine sponsors. TGO, where it's all ice fishing all the time.